Hello, everyone, and welcome to CineQuest video. Today, we're going to be reviewing Alex Garland's new war pick, Civil War.
God bless America.
This is Cosmic Beef reporting from, I guess, MoQuest Studios, and we have the Western Forces joining us today. How are things going over in your neck of the woods?
Well, we just can't be stopped. You got Florida, hell, even California. Texas, California had a beef back in the day, but we're just teaming up to take down all the East Coast, man.
Do you think that's primarily because you're the biggest states in the United States?
Oh, you know what? Well, then why isn't Alaska in there, man?
Well,
Where's Alaska? They're trying to be neutral, and so is Alaska
what's their
now?
population? What's their population like? Do they have that many people there? It's
I don't
mostly
know.
like barren wastelands, right? There's frozen wastelands out there.
Are you trying to tell me though that Alaska wants to be the Switzerland, the Sweden of America? Are they being neutral?
Oh, I doubt that. I doubt that very much.
It's a hell of a day to be American.
So, Bryce, Civil War. It is directed by Alex Garland. You familiar with any other Alex Garland films?
No. What's the other one he directed? Because I kind of.
Well, he did Ex Machina. He did Annihilation.
Oh yeah.
He did Men. I think he wrote.
I never got to see Men, but
I think he wrote or directed. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. It's 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
But Men was the last one I saw, which is kind of divisive type of movie. It's not for everybody, kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of just went in some weird directions. I enjoyed it. But I mean, could I explain exactly what's going on? Obviously not. I think visually it was primarily what I enjoyed. And Alex Garland does have a very well, he has very much the talent for as a director. Everything he does is kind of visually stunning, and he knows how to work a camera or knows how to get the cinematographer to work the camera for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's a really good director, and whenever this movie was announced, I was very much anticipating it. And I know you were as well.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I was just the minute I saw the trailer on this, I was like, this is gonna be a badass movie. This is gonna be a great movie. I don't really know why, and then of course, I mean, I don't know if we want those in, but a lot of people are divisive, I guess, about the movie. There's even some talk now on the media about like, oh, should they have released it? Especially this close to election year. So I was already like, that alone was like, man, I really want to see.
I think that's perfect that they did it during an election year. You know why? Because people are going in with with a certain type of perspective, And the one thing about this movie that I can say that I did appreciate is that it really didn't take a side, because I have a personal side,
Yeah.
when it comes to like either politics or like just anything like that. But I'm glad that this movie took what would be kind of it's not necessarily a political thing, war in general. Wars go on all over the world, and I think it was good at, again, not picking a side, but just showing what it is on the ground for those participating in it, and how not glamorous it is, you know? And that really doesn't matter which side you're on. It's just not good for anyone, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know if they had. Yeah, I think they kind of mentioned it in the trailers that like Western Forces is California, Florida, and Texas. So immediately when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, they're not doing any like. Was California? Why would California be joining with Texas and Florida?
Yeah,
So,
but that's just going from our perspective of what we see
well,
now.
true. And so we don't even. Do we
Yeah.
even? Do they even tell you what year it is?
No, it's kind of ambiguous in that sense,
Yeah.
because there's no year, there's no particular time that it's saying that it is. I mean, the most you can gather is that, I guess, the level of technology they have seems like it.
Pretty similar to what we have now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, this could be an entire parallel universe that Alex Arn has created, where these states secede from the America, from whatever it is. Because I mean, as we're seeing it, of course, this is the poster for Civil War. If you're watching on the YouTube, we have Nick Offerman as the president.
Yeah.
which was
I thought that
strange
was
enough as
good.
it is.
Yeah, I liked it though. Yeah.
I think he had like I think towards the end, I kind of saw Nick Offerman's kind of like more, um, I guess I guess like it just seemed more real when you see him like in person. But
Mhm.
like, excuse me, the other times, like he just seems like a very stoic kind of person, and he's like, the only time we see him is like he's giving a speech and he's kind of like rehearsing his lines
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
trying not to fuck up and stuff like that. But I mean, we can at least gather that whatever version of the United States this is, it's somewhat leaning towards a fascist type of I guess ideology, because they mention in the movie that as the journalist that we're trying to follow, which is Kirsten Dunst. Hold on, let me get these people up here. Kristen Dunst, I believe his name is. It's Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Mour, Kaylee Spiney.
Oh, there you
Of
go.
course, we have Stephen McKinley Henderson.
Mhm.
Um, they're all in a van on a road trip to go to Washington D.C. And they mention that they're on their way over there to other journalists who are documenting everything. And they say, well, even the Stephen McKinley character, the gentleman in the middle, he says they kill the press on site.
Yeah.
So I mean, that already goes to show you that it's not following our typical constitution.
Mhm.
So if that's done away with, then you can assume that many other things in that document are done away with, and that would lead more, I would
Yeah, because
say, in a
the
fascistic type of
some of the
ideology.
questions they were rehearsing that they're going to ask him, although he said it was kind of a softball question, was asking him why he decided to disband the FBI. So
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting too. Which, yeah, I don't, the FBI does a lot of internal investigation.
Hmm.
CIA, of course, is like intelligence, like foreign intelligence, but FBI does a lot of like investigate. I believe they also investigate like internal, like kind of internal affair type things, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. But so that was kind of interesting that they disbanded that. So obviously that was a contentious point that they were gonna talk about, or he
And
wanted
I
to
mean,
ask him.
you can almost gather that. I mean, if you're gonna put it into
Oh,
perspective of what we're dealing with right now,
uh huh.
I know like Donald Trump has said things like disbanding the FBI,
Well, see, that's
and
what
he
I
has
was.
like a kind of
Uh,
a negative view, as most people do, I would say, of the media. You know,
yeah.
so I mean,
Do
you
you
can
think that's
kind
who
of like
that? Do you think that's who they're
ascribe it to that.
paralleling? Y-
I think they're just taking, maybe just taking more like real life, not things that are happening right now, but
Uh-huh.
things that people in power
Mm.
are saying or have said,
So you don't
and you
think they
just
were trying
incorporate
to?
into this character. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
necessarily think they're incorporating it as like any one person,
Uh-huh.
because it's still left it a little bit ambiguous, but you can kind of tell from where I guess your perspective would stand. It
Well,
leaves
not
it up.
to.
It leaves it up to a bit of interpretation as to what you're
Yeah, and
gonna take from this
not
movie.
to throw any spoilers or whatever, but well, it's not really a spoiler, but he's also a bit of a spin doctor, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of interesting. I think it also kind of brings into like perspective fake news, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it, like how the media is like kind of sometimes depending on misinformation basically was because the speech he gives kind of that plays out later, you'll see. But yeah, man, I don't know. And it's interesting you said, which I guess it is, it's A24's war movie. And I was thinking it was gonna be more like A24's like first action movie kind of in a way, because but
Yeah, I think you're
it's
thinking
not though,
more a big budget.
because
Yeah.
it's really more of it is a war movie. It's more about the journalists kind of take the center stage of the whole thing
Yeah.
anyways,
Hmm.
which that
Agree.
was completely like I was taken aback on that. I didn't realize that was going to be the main focus, but I guess it kind of makes sense because you can't just have a movie, you know what I mean, just being
But
constantly battles like
I take it as this, like they follow perspective of mainly Kirsten Dunst's character,
uh
as she's like someone who's been in the trenches of documenting and documenting like past wars or conflicts and
hmm
whatnot.
yeah
And at this point, she's survived enough, because you see what they have to go through to get like these images and stuff, and they really are putting their life on the line. And if you kind of
hmm
think about it, anyone in the past that you've seen like any sort of horrific images of war,
hmm
they were on the ground taking those pictures, or taking that video. And so, I mean, it gives me a bit more of appreciation for that.
It does.
But it does. I'm sorry. It kind of like follows someone who has to be objective about what they're looking at, right? Because they're
Uh-huh.
just taking they're recording what they see, and they can't really adjust an image to skew one way politically or another.
True. But do you also I don't know, man, like I kind of got the sense in this movie that they were also making a little bit of a statement on how I guess media in general now, and maybe even just more like nowadays, is more about like observing and not really doing anything to help, or you know what I mean, like I don't know, like
Yeah.
or just like
Well,
so desensitized to it that it's just all like it's just about getting the shot, like it doesn't even matter, like you know what I
right.
mean.
Yeah.
um
Well, that's kind of like
which
I
I guess
mean
that's what they're
we see.
supposed to do, but it's like I don't know, explain it. Like I kind of felt like that was a message they were kind of, because there's a part where the French guy, I think he's French, right? I don't know. You said his name right now, the actor, but I don't know
Oh,
what his
I
name is.
think I don't know if he's French or nothing. I thought he was like Spanish or something.
Oh, maybe. Well, anyways, that guy. I find it strange because the scene where they first like go to the combat, or you first see them like, and not in the riot, but in the combat, and then after like that one side one, he's just there like chatting it up with them and stuff like that. Like to me,
Yeah.
it would be like it wouldn't matter who won that situation. He would be there like, oh, like so that befriending those people. You know what I'm saying? Like that was kind of
Yeah.
an interesting thing to me. But I don't know.
But that would also, like I said, like lend to the objectivity of what they're doing. They
I
can't
guess
really
that's
take a
true.
they can't
Yeah.
really take a side, because
The
if you
Hawaiian
want the
shirts versus the
yeah,
uh,
if you want the quote unquote story, and you want the inside scoop, you kind of have to kind of network no matter who you're talking to. You have people
mhm,
going and speak, like nowadays you have people going and speaking with like Putin, or like people that went to go speak with Gaddafi back in the day and
mhm.
stuff like that. I mean, those are just people going to speak to someone. They're not like they're not working for any one person other than telling a story, you
Yeah,
know. And
but
I'm not just I
okay.
don't want
At
to say like
the
put
end, you don't feel like there was like a little like
no, yes,
lack
yeah,
of
but
any
that
empathy, like
was
whatsoever.
that was deliberate on, because I mean, like technically they are the enemy in that sense, because um they like I said earlier, in DC, that's where they're going.
Hmm.
People like themselves are killed automatically without
I
question.
guess that's
So
true.
I
Yeah.
mean, like you would have to have some kind of, in that case, the biases is against you as a journalist. So I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, you are going to take somewhat of a side.
I guess
You know what
that's
I mean?
true. Yeah.
But I mean, if that wasn't the case, I mean, who knows what kind of perspective or what kind of a narrative angle this would have taken, because if they're going to like, I mean, because he's not going to do anything if he were to talk to the president himself.
Well, not that
I
he
mean, but
could
if he's got
stop
like
it,
no,
but
yeah, he there's
even
nothing he could do specifically,
yeah.
like on his own. But um if you have like a group of people with you who have like an agenda, and basically they're letting you they're letting you follow. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a person who's been in a war or anything
Mm-mm.
like that, so I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what kind of emotional take that is what's going on to your brain whenever like the bullets are flying.
Yeah.
But just to get back to the actual I guess the movie, and kind of like just the surface of it. We, like I said, we had Kristen Dunst, who primarily follows, and again, she's been in it for a long time. And that guy, Wagner Mour, I forget his name in the movie, but he follows her, and kind of like I've noticed like what his job was to kind of like guide her as she's kind of focusing on taking the picture. Like he kind of like sees where to go next, and he kind of like drags them to the next thing, will like try to like protect them or something, or
Mm,
like, you know what I mean, like because if they're focused on taking a picture, they're not watching where everything's what's happening around them, and he's kind of doing that, and then he kind of like drags them along,
mhm.
and kind of like it's just like your backup, it seems like his
Yeah.
job was.
Mhm.
um and then we have Kaylee Spianey, I guess her name is Spianey. She's kind of new to the game, and she kind of like forced her way into their road trip. um her idol is Kirsten Dunst's character, and she's kind of learning from her. She seems like that she's a noob in this whole situation, and it almost seems throughout the movie that Kirsten Dunst is kind of like trying to discourage her from doing it, because I guess whatever toll it's taking on her mentally, because we see Kristen Dunst as like a very strong, like brick wall
Mhm.
most of the time, and then
Yeah.
she seems to like towards the end of the movie she softens a bit and she like, kind of like seems to like break a bit, you know?
PTSD looks like it's coming out.
Yeah, yeah,
Starting to get
and
that again.
we can't go any further with that because we want to make sure that whenever you're watching the movie, you can kind of see how things unfold. Of course, like we said, we had Nick Offerman as the president, which was strange. And again, as we go through the movie, they even try to see like there's a scenario here where these two guys are firing at a house, and they go, "Which side are you on? Like, what exactly are you doing?" And the guy just says, "There's someone shooting at us."
Mhm.
Like that's all. That's as much as they're thinking it through to
Yeah.
kill this person.
Mhm.
And I thought that was I guess kind of like a point of the movie. Like it does again, it does not has anything to do with any sort of side you're picking, especially in the Civil War. You're someone's trying to kill you, you got to kill them, and that's how instinctual it's gotten to this point. No one's even picking sides. People are just like killing people.
Well, I was thinking, I mean, I guess other than the fact that they have like ghillie suits and like camouflage. I mean, were they even necessarily even part of like
Right.
an army? And, that's why I felt like that was more like people just getting caught in between the war. Like they didn't really necessarily
Yeah.
pick a side, but they're there because even we don't even know who the guy shooting in the house was or what his whole
Yeah.
deal was. Maybe he's just like people. He was trying to protect whatever property he had, and who knows? He's just shooting at whoever's on there.
hmm
But so I thought that was kind of interesting, yeah, aspect. And then, well, yeah. So I think that was like, and then even the gas station people, like,
Yeah.
they're just like, hey, we're just trying to make money and stop people from looting us. But they don't really ever say like what side they're on or what.
Right.
That's
Right.
the thing. There's a lot of neutrality in this movie, which I find interesting. But
It's just people trying to survive,
mhm,
and I mean, think of any sort of like dystopian movie, even like a zombie movie or a zombie like film, or even the TV shows. At some point or another, it's kind of every man for himself. Like you're just trying to survive for the next day or something like that. So like you either trying to take from someone or you're willing to bargain. Like for instance, whenever they go to the gas station, they say they're gonna give them money, and they're just like American money. Like that's not gonna get you
mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
And she's like Canadian, and he's like, oh shit,
Oh
like
yeah, it's
Canadian money.
$500 or something. That'll get you a ham sandwich or a turkey. It's like Canadian. He's like, oh.
Yeah, and
Very
and
funny if they went
those
500
people are pretty
pesos.
brutal
Like,
too.
oh shit.
Man, you got them pesos?
I'll tell you what,
Damn.
Ray. A country boy can survive. Whatever.
Let me see what else here. I think the one scene that people talk about the most, and it's in the trailer,
Yep.
is the scene with Jesse Plemons. That was an intense scene. I didn't really I wasn't sure how intense it was gonna be when I saw it, because I mean you see the trailer. I don't know how far it's gonna go.
It's those
You know?
terrifying ruby sunglasses, man.
Yeah, dude. Like
Who is this guy?
uh,
Fucking Cyclops? What's going on here?
apparently, from what I've seen in interviews and whatnot, Jesse, this guy is married to Kirsten Dunst, right?
Yeah.
And he initially wasn't going to play the part of this person,
hmm
but the other original actor bailed out kind of like last minute. Alex Gardner didn't know what to do. Kirsten Dunst says, well, Jesse's here, he'll do it, right? He's just around. And so
My husband's great at being a
yeah,
sociopathic
psycho.
killer.
And he has an array of sunglasses we can use.
Yeah.
They also said that he actually got a bunch of sunglasses and they were like trying them out and seeing what's what. It's really strange that they like pick these specifically.
Well, see, this is the only scene to me, and again, like I don't know if these guys are even
A part of anything,
affiliated or they just like sowing the chaos. Although this kind of does bring in a little bit of like xenophobia, a little bit of like
Yeah.
American exceptionalism, I guess if you want to say, because I don't know if we want to talk about the scene, but yeah, I don't know. That's like the only time because I don't know, like this guy just these people that are here again, they have camouflage. I guess that doesn't mean anything. There's no uniforms really. I guess the Western forces sort of have camo, but I don't know.
The Western forces seem to have like they
More of
are
a
organized,
yeah.
but there's a lot of people like that they come across that aren't.
like
and they're
these
just
people, they
participating
just seem
like
like
these
they
people
like
here.
to, yeah, just to kill, like they're killing people. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
very
if you
tense
think
scene,
if you
man.
think about it, I mean, even now, I guess you're just taking bits of reality and placing it in a movie like this. For instance, like these characters here, there are people online that have pretty much advocated for civil war,
Uh
you
huh.
know, and I think it's not necessarily for any sort of like stance or political stance that they have.
Uh
They
huh.
just want an excuse to kill people without being prosecuted or persecuted in some way or another. Like they have the weaponry, they want to kill people, and they will just want a reason to do it. And I mean, those people are pieces of shit, and they're probably like, in this world, in our reality, have to do with like a lot of like Christian nationalists and stuff like that, or just even not even Christian nationalists, but like very right wing people, at least from what I've observed, because a lot of those folks seem to just not like the other side and they hate that they're a bunch of pussies and they want to
Mm.
like kill them off, you know. And again, it's been recorded online by people actually saying these things, you know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like what these people represent. But again, we don't know exactly what side specifically that they're on. They're
Yeah.
just
I
integrated into the chaos,
think they
and they
just
like
like
that's what
killing
they like,
people,
you know.
man.
Yeah, they just like killing people.
Seems like it.
So overall about this movie, Bryce, what are like the pros for you?
Um, well, like I said, it's like I thought it was gonna be an A24 action movie, and it does deliver on that. Honestly, a lot of the fight scenes are great. Huge budget, just really well shot. I saw it in IMAX, and to me, it was like, I mean, if you're gonna see this movie, like y'all best be seeing it in IMAX, because
I saw it in XD.
well, it's that's
That's it.
I don't know.
I
I mean,
think
it's similar, right?
like the audio itself was like pretty crazy in the movie because
Yeah.
like the gunshots are really
Oh yeah,
like
sound. Well, I mean
they're real
the
somewhat realistic, you know, like
yeah,
they're really
yeah.
loud.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, seeing IMAX, it's very jarring when like when the guns go off and stuff. It's like I don't know, man. Yeah, it was loud as hell, but it really adds to the action of the movie
Yeah.
and the tenseness. Yeah, great actors, a great cast. Yeah, Nick Offerman as the president was interesting. I don't know. I just I was emotionally invested in the movie, you know, like for the, I mean the characters anyways, you know,
Hmm.
like seeing them get to where they wanted to go, and even the it really conveys too. I feel like the callousness of war in a lot of ways, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
I don't know. I want to talk about it, but I can't give. I don't want to give spoilers away, but I just really, just how like people can have like a mindset, and it doesn't matter if it's like a living person or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just
they don't
like
care. Yeah.
this is our objective, and I don't know. It's like whoever's in the way, they're gonna get like. It's just I don't know, man. It's really, really
Well,
interesting.
again, it has that I was actually gonna do something about it, like I'll probably put it in afterwards. But whenever they say war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. You
Yeah.
know, and it's true. A lot of war itself is either monetarily motivated and or they want and I mean, I think it all comes down to money a lot of the times. But when it comes to civil war, you're not really fighting over any sort of piece of land, or at least from what I'm seeing here, it's more just ideas that don't mesh well, or with people that feel
Hmm.
that they want to like take over, or just I don't know. I don't know other than our own civil war that it was experienced back in the I guess
Yeah.
1700s, right?
But that's what's
Um,
also really interesting about the movie. And I'm sorry not to cut you off, Ray, but just like again, going back to the like, they don't really give you any ideology whatsoever. So it's
yeah.
just like it's just interesting to be like, okay, these people are just they're just killing each other. Like I don't know, it's
Well, it could be as simple as certain places, like for instance, Texas, the Western Front
yeah,
forces
yeah,
didn't like where the president was or what the president was
hmm,
doing, so they seceded
hmm,
from that and created their own whatever army apparently that they had, because apparently they have the weaponry too.
hmm,
Because you would think that the United States has all the weaponry control,
hmm,
and then because they had helicopters, they had all the tanks and stuff as well.
yeah,
But either Texas and whatever military that they had stationed in these particular states, like they agreed that they were going to all secede, and then they were going to go after this person because
Yeah.
of whatever they are doing or aren't doing specifically. Because they do say that they seceded, so I would imagine if
Yeah.
any sort of secession would lead to some sort of conflict.
There was
So
there was one um I guess when they're at when the first kind of like opening scene when they're at the protest, there was only one time where they mentioned any kind of like political ideology, and I don't know if you caught it. And I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, but they said something about like the Portland Maoists, and I was like,
yeah, yeah,
I started kind of laughing. Like I was like,
yeah.
of course they would say that somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, somebody would be like a Maoist communist type. Like I was like, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Actually, it was the Wagner Mour guy. He said the Portland Mouse for
Yeah.
some reason or
I
another.
was like I was like,
I did laugh when
what
I
a
saw that.
weird like Maoists like Chairman Mao stuff. Like I don't know, man. It's just that's a weird. Anyways, it's funny.
I think personally this movie is shot really well. I think I enjoyed the perspective that it does take or doesn't take in this case, and it has more of an objectivity whenever it's dealing with the subject matter.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of that could upset people because they want to go into a movie like this, especially during an actual, I
Hmm.
guess, high tension in this country as it is in reality. They want some sort of person to like, I guess, validate their ideas or what political stance they take, especially in a movie like something like this. And then
Yeah.
when it doesn't, it might upset some people, but I find it, I thought it was a good way to approach the movie.
Yeah.
Do you have any negatives about this movie, Bryce?
Mm, no, not really. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I can't think of anything I didn't really
I think
particularly like about it.
I would say for me, as far as a negative is concerned, I think I would wanted a little bit more. Um, I would say more action. If that's the
Okay.
case.
Yeah. Right.
More war.
Just when you're about to say, but yeah, because again, it's like it
Yeah,
follows more about the journalists, but it's like, yeah, like they had all this
not
big budget and great fight scenes. Like you kind of
not
wanted
to
to see
say
a
that
little
we
bit
don't
more of
get,
it.
not to say
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
don't get that. I
yeah.
just feel I wanted just a tad more, just a little bit like more Salt Bayish. Salt Bay me on some
Whoa.
war here.
Yeah, you want some more like Roland Emmerich style, like explosions or fucking Michael Bay style shit, man.
Yeah.
Where was Optimus Prime in this movie? No, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
where were the
I
aliens that were actually like partnering with the Western
right,
forces to
yeah,
blow up the
yeah.
White House and shit?
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of brought out the Independence Day style, like yeah,
Yeah.
the ship comes. Yeah, yeah. When they do finally siege, like or the final like battle, it's like I'm not gonna say what, but yeah, it could have been a little bit more. But yeah, other
Again,
than that, I
yeah,
mean, I really didn't. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the time they did have the fight scenes, it was enough.
it was
Like
pretty
it was
intense.
good. I
Yeah,
would have liked
like
a little more, yes, but I felt like they did it really well enough that you weren't. I don't know, just for
entirely
me, it wasn't
dissatisfied.
too
Yeah,
but yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you do it would have been kind of cool to see a little bit more like the big battles.
I think it's just like I've said about like past or the recent reviews that we've done where
Uh-huh.
things are good,
Yeah.
but we also just want more. But I think that's just dealing with our cinema gluttony, if that
It
makes
did
any
have some
sense.
yeah, but it did have some pretty cool scenes, and this isn't a spoiler because it was in the trailer, but there's a scene where they I'm gonna say who, but there's a scene where I believe it's the Lincoln Monument gets blown up.
Okay, yeah,
So that was kind of cool.
yeah,
So yeah, but see,
oh, yeah.
you're wanting like Michael Bay type stuff. You wanted to see like the fucking the Washington the obelisk like fucking fall over like Mars Attack
Yeah,
style shit.
yeah, it
You
falls
wanted
over
to
like in a bunch of
see
people and like crushes
yeah
them and
you
shit.
wanted to see like that kind of destruction. I was like yeah. It would have been kind of cool, but I feel like they didn't do a lot of CGI in the movie, or I mean, I'm sure they did, but like those are like
Well,
real
like
helicopters
for
and
instance,
stuff.
the poster here,
Yeah.
the poster of Civil War, it has like a bunch of people stationed on top of the Statue of Liberty,
Mm,
which
which
is strange because they're just surrounded by water,
would be a
right?
horrible strategic. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
silly.
the imagery looks cool on a poster, but
Maybe they're trying to get it to move
realistically,
like the Ghostbusters too, like turn it into some like giant mech and like that would have been kind of cool, man.
oh man. So Bryce, out of a nice healthy 5, what would you give this movie?
I'm gonna get a 4 out of 5.
Four out
I
of
really
five?
thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, it's it was a great cinema experience for sure. Like it's definitely it's a theater movie for sure, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
for sure,
definitely
for
see it.
sure.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it seeing it in theater. Maybe I shouldn't give it so high of a rating because I would like to see it again, like streaming, and then see like maybe it's just
Maybe it only lends itself to the theater experience and it doesn't translate too well on the small
yeah.
screen. Maybe I don't know.
Um,
I don't think so.
I'm giving it 4 out
I
of
think
5. I'm giving
I
it 4.
think it
I'm
was
not
a
I'm
good.
not gonna backtrack on that.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
give it
I'm
4.
gonna I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh.
I did like it a lot. I thought the scenes that did have any of that war aspect was done well, and I cared about the characters enough. And as most people, like not say most people, I can't speak for most people, but I would say that the objective view that this movie has, I preferred it as opposed to it taking a side because, um, well, it's just I just think that it focusing on war itself and boots on the ground, like it just shows how either depraved people can become
Mm-hmm.
or and how not glamorous war is because I feel like people tend to romanticize war.
Yeah.
And it's movies like this and even like Saving Private Ryan or any of those like realistic type kind of like dispel that whole aspect of what war is because people tend to like there's a song I believe it's from what's the guy that sings This Land Is Your Land? Pete Seeger.
Mm-hmm.
Uh where I think it's Pete Seeger or Tom something. I forget the guy's name, but it's an old folk singer and where one of the lyrics is that in school they teach you about the wars and like someday you'll get your chance to
Mm-hmm.
participate in these wars. And
Yeah.
that's not something like we as a society should be gearing or teaching people that war is a good thing to participate in because it's not.
Yeah.
But that's why I do like the way this the perspective this movie does take or again doesn't take.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4.5 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it. I hope that Alex Garland is just bullshitting when he said he wasn't going to make any more movies after this. But I enjoy Alex Garland movies. I enjoy Annihilation. I really like Ex Machina a lot. Man was weird, and I appreciate the weirdness that took.
Still haven't seen that yet. I didn't watch it.
You should definitely watch it. It's fucking weird. I think your dad might like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird enough, I think. But yeah.
Maybe he'll make a Civil War II Reconstruction Boogaloo.
Oh shit. All right. Well, that'll be it for us. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you like this review, please rate and review it on any of the podcasts that you're listening to. We appreciate you. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeehaw!
All right. We can move on
Ray,
to
if I do it
the
like
other one.
this, I can do Yosemite Sam. What in tarnation?
Without the sunglasses.
Yeah.